Okay, the entity that is monitoring engages in a pattern of creating audible activity. This is engineered light, right? There's no sun that's going to be outside of my leasing office when it is remaining over me, while I am in an entirely different location, such as the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, the Fontana Lewis Library, literally on public transportation. It's currently 11:28 a.m. And I'm documented leaving Pomona, California on Route 61 going toward. I want you to see what is the presence of engineered light, even though the entity is covering up the light source, okay? So this is the presence of engineered light that's appearing. And you already know the documentation shows the light source is here from the beginning to the end of the day, literally. While I am preparing, they're monitoring, knowing exactly what I typed up to send in an email. Literally, as I finish typing my salutation, good morning, and the email is complete, immediately the phone rings. That's the creation of audible activity in the engineered light. They combine this simultaneity of these elements of monitoring while they're engaging in what is federal stalking on the venue of the internet. Okay, so I just want to be clear. This is an entity also. While I'm here, I'm going to also go through a couple seconds. They're engaging in they're doing it nicely. Okay, but let me be clear. There is no nice way to threaten someone's life. So let me point that out to you. And that's what you're doing when you are monitoring with the state and doing it in the workplace. That's a high level of a threat to your well-being, to the ability to even provide for yourself, to the ability to be free of the ongoing threat that the entity that is engaging in stalking and monitoring you poses. And then the entity is going to the degree to engage in it in the workplace. Okay. And then everything that you're doing online is a matter of ongoing observation, stalking conduct, engaged in surveillance on the internet. This is communication that all the people of the state that live at the apartment complex, they all know, because that's why they're engaging what is group stalking with simultaneity to what I'm doing online. Sending in an email asking me a question, or responding, or sending a text message on my phone centered around what they know I'm doing online. And this is a business that's providing that information about the inside details of their business, while the people of the state are necessarily mindful of it. They're all engaged in federal stalking, but I just want to give you that detail. Anyway, they are nicely engaging in what is creating what is a different rule. Okay, so this is different treatment, while they're also aware of the fact that they're being documented. So previously requirement to, oh, you wanted me to provide super details, very detail oriented, and this is not rocket science. Property management, it's just filling out a form. Oh, but I filled out the form. Oh, but it's not detailed enough. Oh, you want down to the detail, every penny that the company is charging, which requires more time for me to find out what the company's going to charge until after they complete the work. This was the previously requested substandard, okay? Because it wasn't enough that I correctly filled out the form. Oh, now you want the charges, so I have to go about and find out what those charges are, but I don't even know those charges until I complete the work. And in order to do that, that is in conflict with this rule that you're citing today, that you want this form done within 6 days of recovering possession of an apartment that is now vacant. This was not the rule before, and this is also documented on this computer while I organize all of my emails. And during the previous move outs, there has never been any rule stating that they wanted the move out packet within 6 days. And in addition to that, you have what was waiting until I got the invoices from the companies in order to thoroughly fill out per their request the forms regarding the amounts that were charged for let me show you one, because I'm documenting this, but it's also on the computer, which is evidence that the federal government is going to have access to, because this is a crime scene, and everything's documented on this computer. So I want you to see. They want a price breakdown, asking for things such as a price breakdown, asking for me to fill out every single line on the forms. Now, this is petty, okay? This is petty, but this is when I'm doing something, the target individual does the work that's required. Oh, but it's not enough. I need you to go back and I need you to do this and I need you to add that. And so I've complied with it and I do it seamlessly, because none of it is rocket science. They're just trying to find ways to make something difficult that's not difficult, while they're monitoring, by the way. Okay, so this pettiness, while it is petty on the one hand, it's not so petty when you're subject to the pattern of conduct and when you have a whole entity engaging what is being petty on an ongoing basis together. All right. And this is, again, the ordinary target individual. I am looking for, just give me 1 second. Let me find one so that you can look at it. I was just looking at one because I want it to be pulled up on the video itself. Time, move out documents. Yeah, here we go. All right, so this is the form. This is the form that I filled out before, and this is the level of detail that was previously requested, okay? And this is done on well after a move-out date, okay? So the entity is engaging in what Melania Padilla is monitoring. They're all witnessing me documenting them on the computer. The entity is engaging in what is move-out date was October 23rd. And this form was submitted, and I was asked to submit the form again. This is the date that I emailed it, they moved out on October, the move out, the inspection, the move out, the 30-day notice was September 26, 2023. So the move out date is 30 days from that October 26, 2023. They moved out before October 26, 2023. They moved out on the 23rd, which is what you can see here. They moved out October 23rd, 2023. And by the way, they are going to federal prison. They were living at the crime scene. This is the quash of 1808 number 5. Nonetheless, you can see from the date October 23rd they moved out. I did not provide these documents to them in email. The move out packet that they're requesting today within 6 days, which is necessarily not going to include this level of detail that was previously required. All right, while they were doing this through email, oh, can you add this, and can you do this over again? Petty ways to try to make the target individual feel like they're not doing something correctly, like they're incompetent, which again, I'm an attorney, okay? It's not the ordinary target individual is subject to what is gang stalking. They're subject to what is by a gang that is engaging jointly on an ongoing basis efforts to minimize any and everything that you're doing. It's demonic. These are demons that are doing that, but it's relevant to the workplace, okay? And like I'm stating, in every way, you cannot I am a trained legal professional. I'm an attorney. I am in the mode of a property manager. There is nothing that no shade to anyone else, whatever your trade is, God bless you. But there is nothing that any of these people can say to me. I don't care if I miscalculate 30 plus 27. Okay. I went to law school. I'm not a mathematician. There's nothing that you're ever going to say or point out that's going to make me feel anything less than a legal professional. I'm an attorney, period. All right, but this is the ongoing effort. It's relevant to what is the pattern of conduct. This is not ordinary behavior, and it's not an individual. It's an entity that is harassing you while they're monitoring, changing up rules, creating rules, and the documentation is showing that this rule did not apply before. It's also relevant whether they do it with a smiley face while they say it gently or delicately. They're monitoring you. They're threatening your life. They're still engaging with a psychological torture in concert with the state that's stalking, following around at the crime scene where you work for the same company. They're on the venue of the internet engaged in federal stalking, and they're also doing it relevant to what is hostility because they know the whole company is being documented. And I have told them that they're going to federal prison. But nonetheless, this different treatment, this change in rules, the creation of rules after the fact, all right, that's relevant, okay? It is currently 11:36 a.m. and I want to document this because Susan is the one that's sending that email, and Susan's going to federal prison. That's P.O.C. Alrighty, Susan's going to federal prison. This is the entity that's sending those emails engaged in federal stalking. Melania Padilla is creating audible activity inside of my office, and the entity engages in a pattern of stalking, as you see in helicopter at the crime scene where I'm working. Speaker Companies is a third party. They are on the venue of the internet with that state that's engaged in surveillance, both online with communication devices in violation of Title 18, engaging in creating, changing rules in real time while they are seeking to find anything and everything just to make a comment on your performance. Okay, this is not about being hypersensitive. This is not about just picking and choosing, trying to find something else to prosecute. I don't need to make up anything to prosecute Speaker Companies. They're group stalkers, and they're also demon possessed. And Speaker Companies is going to be prosecuted, period. I am pointing out each and every little tactic that an entity that has no business engaging in what is state surveillance in the first place, and all the ways in which you are tormenting and engaging in what is different treatment. If this was a supposed rule before, then it should have been quoted a long time ago, and it wasn't. And that's also relevant. So what was all that extra work, all that searching for details? And then you're talking about within 6 days now. Okay, well, then within 6 days, I didn't need to do all of that work that was requested before. And who else am I documenting? Because I'm gonna let you know who I'm documenting is the one who's going to federal prison. That's Rosie Shearing. While the entity's sounding helicopter activity, she's in Palo Alto. She's going to federal prison. And again, you saw the picture of Susan Shiu. She's going to federal prison. The entity is engaging in what is harassment as an entity while federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. It's occurring on the venue of the internet. All of the entity seeks to engage in what is in anything where they can create any sort of false narrative about your ability to do your job. I'm a legal professional. I'm an attorney. I'm overqualified to be a property manager. It's not going to work against me. I'm advocating on behalf of the ordinary target individual. And again, my ability to articulate that, my ability to maintain that understanding does not in any way remove the criminal responsibility for that. This is how an entity is engaging in what is torturing someone, harassing someone, discriminating against someone, engaging in different treatment of that person, no matter how well they're doing their job, finding something to critique. And it's not minor. It's not oversensitivity. It's the entity that you hear stalking in helicopter. They're doing that while the entity is tormenting you, flying, following you around in helicopters. They're monitoring and they're engaged in federal stalking. Susan Chu of Speaker Companies is going to federal prison. Also because while you document the people of the state, that's exactly what the entity does, engages in more tormenting conduct, stalking you, threatening your life. Susan Chu is going to go to federal prison for that, especially while I'm doing my job according to the requirements that were previously requested. And the fact that you're changing rules now is something that is relevant to the pattern of conduct that's being documented. Okay, so in other words, wanting to point out, and this is a pattern that they engage in a pattern of this. And by they, I mean the people of the state. The people of the state are now in the workplace and they're facing time in federal prison now, especially while you hear audible activity of the helicopter flying over. And this is a third party. The entity just flew over my office in a helicopter. It's 11:39 a.m. Carla Lopez he's going to federal prison. Come in. This is P.O.C. Hi.
I don't know if I needed to give you the new license plate or whatever to park in my parking.
Your same spot, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a different car?
Yeah.
I don't need your driver's license, just like your registration.
No, just the license plate, so I can write it down on the paper.
It's a different car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need the registration for it in order to take a copy and put it in your file, and then it's authorized to park on the grounds.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Can you do it right now? Or...
I sure can.
Okay.
That is Precious Bastillos, who likes to monitor with her children. All she did was come and ask a question. The entity is monitoring via LAPD. LAPD is using the criminal presence and audible activity of a conversation by Precious Bastillos, who employs her children engaging in that P.O.C. This is the criminal system that Alvarado Gardens is engaging in. So anyway, this is documenting, again, this is harassment by an entity that's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. And while the entity is being documented, the entity engages in more life-threatening behaviors, such as a highly demented and corrupt entity that's acting directly, stalking you, pursuing you, harassing you, intimidating you, keeping you under surveillance while the law enforcement agencies are doing so in the workplace. And that's exactly what's happening, flying all around my office. You saw them doing this yesterday, flying in circles, flying around the property all day long. They're flying over my apartment all night long. And that's exactly what's going on while I'm documenting Susan Chu. That's evidence against her. She works for a third party. While I'm documenting her by name, the entity is threatening my life. I want to be clear, that's going directly to the third party who you are documenting. It goes directly to the people of the state. Susan Chu is not being protected. Susan Chu is being incriminated, and she's going to federal prison. She's also documented engaging in federal stalking on the venue of the internet. This is what the entity is doing that is placing you under surveillance. So I want to be clear. They're engaging in a crime while you're looking at these emails and whatnot that's occurring under the guise of the business of the company. This is federal stalking, okay? It is also Rosie Shearing, okay, who is being documented, and the entity that is hostile to that documentation threatens your life, which is directly incriminating to Rosie Shearing, who is going to federal prison. This entity is creating what are different rules, different from what the requirements were before, making it difficult for me to accomplish a very simple task, requiring more details than what is ordinarily understood. And then when I'm complying with that, now stating, oh, well, there is a deadline and it should have been due on April 23rd. Okay, well, if that's the fact, the requested details that were required before, you're not even going to get that until well into May. All right. But that's what they were requiring previously. So I just want to point out that detailed with regard to the substance of what's the change and the requirements. This is relevant to doing your job. These are the people of the state that create make up information. They make it up and then they summon the entity. All right. And then you engage in what is being subject to that group conduct. So be mindful of that. It's occurring in the workplace. I'll be right with you. Okay. Give me 1 second. It is currently 11:43 a.m. and this is P.O.C. Just want you to see. Let me see. How's it going, Precious?
Good.
You got a new car? Congratulations. The other one wasn't working, right?
No.
So you got rid of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not gonna park it on the property, right?
No, not the other one. Just.
Okay.
You know.